Hi everyone, my name is Sam Kinnett and welcome back to part 5, the final part of our 5-part series of building a customer application app from scratch. I'm really excited to be here with you today and to kind of wrap up this series with some final touches as well as some testing to make sure everything's working properly. Let's go ahead and get started into the final touches of this series. First thing we're going to do is do some final touches, and so I'm going to open up our customer application record type object, and you'll notice that we do not have any record views yet configured. So when we start to get data, how are we going to view that data? Well, Appian makes it easy. I'm just going to select our existing record type as well as our related documents that are going to be uploaded. Keep the name summary. I'm okay with that. And we're going to go ahead and generate it. So you'll see that Appian will create the summary interface for me. I don't have to do any work. It'll save into the correct spot and do all the work for me. So now that we have that view configured, I'm just going to click save. Within maybe 20 seconds, we just went ahead and created a record view for our data, and we didn't have to do any real coding or back-end work. So already making our lives much easier. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a site. So how are our front-end users, our business users, going to use and view our data? Let's go ahead and create a customer application site. I'm going to name it customer application, and you see it'll go ahead and give it a web address identifier. Let's just go ahead and give it a description, site for customer applications. Let's click create. And now we can get as creative as we want with this. We could do a bunch of UI design, UX design. We're not going to get too crazy with that today, but there's always the option to go to design.appian.com and get some inspiration. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add our one page. We will call this applications. Again, it'll fill out my web address identifier. We'll go ahead and give it, for application, we'll just give it like a message box, I guess. That might not be the best icon, but we'll stick with it. And then we'll select our customer application record type object for our record list, since that's what we want to display. I'm going to update our width to full and click add, and you'll see our page has been added. Now we could get, as I mentioned, more in depth. I could add more pages like employees, customers, a help page. I could add page groups so that we could have secondary navigation. We could do all that and get more creative, but I'm just going to keep it pretty simple today. Scrolling down to our branding, I do want to update our color scheme. I kind of like the navy color scheme, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm a dark mode guy myself, so let's go ahead and go dark mode with navy. And then a new thing you'll notice is I'm going to go sidebar. So instead of having all of our information here at the top, I'm actually going to keep it here on the left. I think it looks better, maybe keeps it a little cleaner. I think we're all good there, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And then we can click on our web address link just to preview everything. So I think this looks pretty good already. I mean, I could do some styling with the button. I would actually remove this because we would obviously have customer applications being received through our portal, which we're going to see later. So maybe I could remove that button. As mentioned, I could add more pages if I wanted to, but here's where all of my data is kind of going to appear. And so once we start to get data in, and we'll see what that looks like later, this is where our front-end users, our business users, will be able to see that. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Now, we kind of have all our finishing touches made. We have our record view, we have our site. Now we just need a test so that we can then, once we get data, we can look at it and see it and really start to take action on it. That's the whole purpose of Appian, is visualizing data, taking action on data, working with data. So the first thing that I want to do is go to my operations console and verify that my robot is still online. It looks like it is, so we're good there. So I'm going to navigate back to my Explore view and click on my portal that we created earlier. And this will be where our customers will be submitting their applications. And so let's say, for example, we have BlackRock. Maybe they want to submit an application for any reason. We will put in the company name of BlackRock, and then we're going to have 2 different file uploads. So let me go ahead and get those uploaded here. I'm going to drag this in from the side, if that's okay. So we have my payment authorization form. Let me also grab my NDA. And so just like that, you can see, as we configured earlier, it only lets us put in 2 files. That's what we wanted, so that's good. Looks like everything's working properly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click Submit Application, and you'll see, based on how we configured it, everything clears out. So we know, we get that response that, okay, our submission went through successfully. That looks great. What this is going to do is it's then going to kick off our robotic process. I'm not doing this with my hands, I promise. This is our robot doing all the work. But you'll see here in a second, it'll open up our ESG score site. It'll accept the cookies that we mentioned. Scroll down and search BlackRock, and then grab that ESG score that we see there on that screen. So hopefully it pulled back that 47 number. Now, obviously this is going to then go through our AI skill to classify our documents that we submitted. So let's go ahead and dive into our process here and see how it's performing, see where we are in the process. So you can see, as I mentioned, we initially submitted our form. Our robotic task successfully kicked off. And now we're classifying our documents. So this might take a little bit. We'll kind of refresh every now and then just to see how it's doing. But this is going through the machine learning model that we created earlier with the sample documents. And it's kind of using that algorithm and AI to predict and classify, are the documents that we submitted correct? If so, tell me what type of documents were submitted and assign it to that document. So all of this will make sense once we get a look at it at the very end. Once we kind of get a look at our site object and see, what were the predicted types? Are they correct? Does everything look okay? I did mention this might take some time, so this gives us some time to kind of hang out. I'm going to open up the interface that we just generated earlier for our record view. Now you can see this is pretty bare. Not much going on here. It's just kind of the main information as well as our related data here. So you can see we have some related data for our documents. And so we could do anything that we wanted to this. We could design it further. We could add a billboard up top by simply just dragging it in and customizing it that way. We could add other fields such as created on, who created it, so who was it submitted by. We could update this record list here, this grid, to remove the ID because that's not really important to us. We could include a plugin to actually preview the documents so that we could see them from our interface. So there's so much different customization and freedom to design things how you would like them, which I think is great about Appian. They make things so flexible and so easy on you. Looks like our process is finished. I just refreshed. So we successfully classified our documents and went through our script tasks that we configured in the last video to make sure that it was predicting the correct documents and then also assigning that document type to each document. And then it's writing our data. So making sure that everything that we've gathered here has been written back to our database so that we can store it. So as I mentioned, that's what we wanted. So I'm going to close out of our portal and I'm going to refresh our site object here. And look at that. You can see our data starting to pull in. So we have our BlackRock, which is the name of the company we submitted. It looks like our robot successfully pulled our ESG score back for us. And then also, which this is great, looks like our AI skill successfully determined that we submitted our correct documents, which obviously we did, but our AI skill is determining that for us as well to kind of take that work out for us. And it makes life so much easier. And then you can see, obviously, created on today. And if I click into this, it looks very similar to that interface I just showed you because it is that interface. You can see that we have this green check mark for yes, it has the correct documents. Some of our main information, it did look like there's some duplicate information. I think I know why. It is because I tested before just to make sure everything was looking okay. And I didn't empty out my document database. So that's my fault. There is duplicate information in here. Technically, it would just be these two new documents that we submitted. These were from earlier of me just doing some initial testing. Apologies with my desk breaking. I think it's just been one of those weeks where my brain's a little foggy. But this looks great. I mean, like I said, if we go back to our record list here at our site, we have all of our data. Everything is working perfectly, and we have successfully built out our customer application app. And like I said, you have full freedom to go in and do anything else that you may like. Customization, UI, UX, to make it as beautiful, clean, and efficient as possible. I hope you all really enjoyed this series as much as I did. I thought it was a blast to be able to be here and build and just talk along the way about how great Appian is. If you did like this video, please check the description below as we will have additional viewing suggestions for you that you may like as well. Please subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified about any new episodes and series that we may have coming up. Thank you so much for watching and happy learning.